Finance Committee meeting for the Gary Common Council is now called to order. I'm Councilwoman Mary Brown. This evening's agenda, there are 3 ordinances. CPO 2018-50, an ordinance amending ordinance 7594 to expand the uses of the City of Gary, Indiana Police Department non-reverting abandoned vehicle fund, and to provide appropriations needed to meet necessary expenses incurred during city auctions for 2018, sponsored by Chief Richard Allen, Gary Police Department. CPO 2018-54, an ordinance revising appropriations for 2018 salary and operating budget special revenue funds in the City of Gary, sponsored by our Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson and Angie Hayes, City Controller. CPO 2018-55, an amendment to Ordinance 9150, 2018 operating budget appropriations for the City of Gary regarding the Local Roads and Streets Fund, sponsored by Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson and Angie Hayes, City Controller. Present this evening is Councilman Herb Smith, Councilman at Large, our Council President, Councilman Ron Brewer, Councilwoman of the 1st District, Rebecca Wyatt, Councilwoman of the 6th District, Yvette Sparks Wade.
You almost got it right.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it right. Councilwoman of the 5th District, Linda Barnes Caldwell, our Council Legal Advisor, Attorney Renzer Williams, and our Council Financial Advisor, Mr. Virgil Moore, and our Controller, Mr. Andy Hayes. We have a full house. Everybody's here. Hey. So we are ready to begin, and we'll begin with CPO 2018-50 for the auctions for the police car.
If I may.
Yes, you may.
I know that Assistant Police Chief Evans is here along with our attorney to explain some of the changes, but one of the requests that I'm going to make is that the budget page for this ordinance be amended on the floor. I will provide the memo explaining the changes, but basically there was just some math that we wanted to make sure was correct on the ordinance page. So, Assistant Chief, if you'd like to come up and explain the ordinance and.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Let me start by saying thank you for allowing me to be here today. I'm here to talk about the changes to the ordinance that we have. And they're basically the changes that we need to cover recurring costs, mostly for the repairs to our current fleet. The budget amendment that was placed in by Angie Hayes speaks to the needs that we have with our fleet. We have 179 vehicles in our fleet. 81 of them are 2010 or older, so it costs to maintain them. In the tow ordinance that was passed earlier this year, the towing fees went to our non-reverting fund. However, without the changes to the budget and the changes that we have in it, we really can't legally spend those monies on the changes we need. Tires, batteries, police equipment such as computers, stands, lights, sirens, and then the professional services we need to run those. The software has a cost. All of our vehicles use a data tracking that has to be paid for. And then repairs to the bodies and basic repairs. Also in there, in the top, which we're not asking an amendment for, is we pay when we have our public auction. We pay for the officers out of the 254 fund to be security. One of our officers picks up the 4 people for finance. They're also paid out of that. And they go to the auction, which we have quarterly. But the changes are mainly for us to be able to spend the money to repair the vehicles and to buy repair parts so that we can be self-sufficient and not encumber any cost on one-on-one.
Okay. All right. Anybody, questions? You have the amended ordinance in front of you. Any questions, anyone?
So these are monies that are a result of auctions that we've auctioned off cars or something like that? Could you
Yes.
explain?
Yes.
Is that right? Is that correct?
That's correct. We
Okay.
auction off cars quarterly, cars that are towed and aren't picked up within a certain amount of time. All of them have been impounded for at least 90 days, sometimes more, and we auction them off beginning at agreed upon price of, I think it's $350. Some of that goes to the tow company, $20 that goes to the city, and anything over that goes to the police department. And also with the new towing ordinance, the fees that people pay for the releases, that goes into 2454 as well, and has been since the new ordinance was passed. I believe it was in April and May, April.
Good.
Are,
I'm
are,
happy.
are we good with the towing ordinance? I thought there was just some questions with that towing ordinance.
The actual-
Is it, okay.
The ordinance is fine. The issue now is with the contract. It's with Public Works, I believe.
okay,
They put out RFQs and they're reviewing them. But the ordinance is
Is
fine.
fine.
The issue is with the contract now, and there was some issues as to whether they had to have certain things, and that's being worked out with Public Works.
Okay.
But there's nothing else that would come back to the council.
okay. Yes, Councilwoman.
So question, the monies that we historically received from towing, we used to be able to repair our vehicles, our police vehicles with them and do whatever services that we needed to do? Or is that what you're saying?
No, that's what we're trying to do now. That used to have to come out of the 101 budget or the general fund.
Right,
Now with
Okay.
us receiving that money in our 254, which is our non-reverting fund,
And the towing fund?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We will be able to spend that money to repair our vehicles, buy police equipment for the vehicles.
Gotcha.
Buy the things we need to keep the fleet moving and not incur any cost on the general fund.
Right.
Understood. So in the revision then, Ms. Hayes, is that, could you explain the amendment that you
Yes.
presented to us?
Yes, the budget that I reviewed, when it was submitted for the first and second reading, wasn't very clear what was increasing by how much, and also some of the math, like I said, was off. So, really, the changes that they were looking to do was increase the garage and motor supplies from 5,000 to totally 20,000. Repair parts from 7,000 to 25,000. Looking to take professional services from 1,500 to 4,000. To increase the cost for contractual maintenance from 2,000 to 5,000. Repairs to equipment from 17,550 to 30,072. And then to add, it says other building improvements, 20,000, and the machinery and equipment line from 4,500 to 10,000.
anybody have any questions or comments?
Madam
Yes.
Chair, the, what was the building, fund to 20,000, what would that be for?
I'll defer to the chief on that.
One of the things we're gonna do, that fund, everything has to be $5,000 or more per item. We have, our lot in front of the facilitation facility is unsecured. We were looking to do some repairs to the parking lot, putting up a gate and some cameras. We've had some vandalism to our police cars in that area. And we want to put cameras out there and also in the lot where our public parks, to increase our camera system, put a gate up to prevent that type of activity from happening. So if something happens out there, even to a citizen's car, we can have a place to begin. Many citizens ask, do you have a camera system? Can we see what happened? We're not able to.
We've had vandalism at the police station?
Yes, ma'am, on Fifth Avenue to the police cars.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Mhm. There seems to be, not to be as much, I'm not sure which word I want to use for it, but people, I mean, it's the police station and it's like, and so what? You know, that's kind of the attitude anymore. So I understand the need for that kind of cameras and that.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I gotta catch my voice back, but I'll catch it sooner or later. But I just wanna say, that was the purpose of changing towing, to make sure those funds could be used for things like repairs of equipment, purchase of new equipment. And that was partly the reason we wanted to go into towing and ensure those monies went to where we wanted them to go. And the police department was the place to put them so that it wouldn't be a drain on that 101 fund. Yeah, so now we know where the money's going. Now we know it's gonna be used in a great way. I'm very happy. Thank you.
Anybody else? Public, any questions? Yeah, oh, I'm
One more.
sorry, yes.
Section 2 on the first page, this fund will also cover the cost of paying for hours worked by certain police department employees and finance department employees as budgeted annually. Who would be paid from this fund?
We have a total of 8 people that are paid from that fund when they have the auctions, which are quarterly. 4 of them are individuals from the finance department, and 4 of them are officers. The 4 finance departments, they do all the paperwork, they do all of the incoming monies, they do all of the things you need to legally take a vehicle from the city's ownership or a tow company's ownership to a citizen who buys it at auction. In addition to that, our officers from Auto Detail are there to take care of any last minute changes. Sometimes right before the auction, a vehicle may be pulled out of it. They're there to legally say, well, this vehicle was pulled out of the auction properly by the owner, and that money, the owner paid for the vehicle and is no longer there. We also have an officer that drives because they do collect cash and checks, and we have someone to take them, pick them up from the finance department and take them back so that there won't be any problems with them having the monies or anything like that.
So then are we,
And everybody is off. It's always on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So these officers are not working the street, and the finance people, that is their off day, so they're compensated for it.
okay. And are we giving tow releases timely as far as when cars are being towed and folk need to get their cars out of tow?
Yes,
Is it a
ma'am.
smooth process at this point?
At this point, it is a smooth process. If it's not, we haven't received any complaints that I know of. If we do, we try to address them directly and quickly. But with the auction, all of these cars have been impounded for 90
Right.
days or more.
Anyone else? Mr. Moore, Attorney Williams? No. Okay, no one from the public? Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, moving along to CPO 2018-54, revising appropriations for special revenue funds. Okay.
This ordinance is actually amending a couple different budgets. One is for the health department, for their fund 243, the GHD rental. Ms. Hawkins, okay, yes, sorry. And Ms. Hawkins is here to explain what budget changes she's requesting. Good evening there.
Hi.
Alrighty. We are requesting an ordinance to establish a salary line item for Fund 243-743. So the overexpended accounts for pay date August the 3rd, 2018 on Fund 240-7411. That's our Healthy Home Radon grant for account 41120, which is part-time salaries, $213.18, and the FICA, which is 41620, and $16.50 can be transferred. So I think you have the information. You have this information? I think you should have it.
No, we don't have that.
Version.
Well,
We just have the ordinance.
We just have the ordinance.
okay.
So. Is there something else that we should have?
No, I
Oh.
was just,
Okay.
had my own workers, I don't know. But that's what it's for.
Okay.
So what
And-
changes were made?
Yes.
The changes is for the, I wrote this out, so okay, so the changes is for the we're requesting the ordinance to establish a salary line item on our fund 243-74. That's our Healthy Home, the radon grant. And we just want to, it was an overexpense on the account for the payday 8/3/18 on fund 240-7411. So that's why we are asking to transfer the funds so we won't be in red.
Healthy Homes is what now?
A radon, that's our radon grant.
And what do you do with that?
Well, we have to go out and test for radon in different homes and give out literature.
Okay.
We've been doing that for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
Okay, and how many workers do we have doing that?
Our inspectors.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
so basically this looks like some payroll here.
Yeah, it is payroll. That's what I said for
Yeah,
it.
part-time
Uh-huh.
payroll for $214 per $17. Total amount is $231 what we're talking about.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh,
Anybody else have any questions? I know they do that because they've come to my house, asked them to come to my house. I wanted
Come to
to,
my house.
I did, I wanted to know.
See, you
We
put
try to
yourself
get the
in-
Yeah, I
you
went,
put yourself in
yeah, I
the
went
seat
to
back.
a session that you guys had
yeah.
about radon, and I wanted to see if I had it in my house. So I asked them to come, and they did, and
well,
so,
you know, we have to start up again, so we're going to start it as we speak because the grant came in yesterday, so I had to sign for it, so we should be getting information.
okay.
So if one wants their home tested for radon?
So
they
there's a
would
kit
call-
that you take home and you leave it for, I think it's 24 hours, and then you put it back in the kit, and then you send it to the state. And then they'll respond to you if you
Now,
have a
yeah.
problem.
Oh, it's a self-test now?
Well, yeah, it tests for them. It's just a little charcoal-like something.
But they come out and conduct
No,
the
we give
test?
it to you.
Oh, you give it
And
to
you just
us?
sit it in a certain area that they designate you to sit it in. And you just leave it there. So when it's finished, you just put it back in the pack and mail it.
But how do we get the kit?
We'd have to give it to you.
I mean, I understand
So you
that, I'm
want- so
saying,
that's
what
what
do,
I'm saying.
what
What
are the
does one
steps
do?
necessary? What does one do? One who does not know what to do to get a
Okay,
radon
so the one
test?
that does not know what to do, I'll say now you just call the health department. But basically, we just try to get, we've been through the city, I thought, because they go around to different homes.
Okay.
But if you haven't been tested, then yeah, we can get that done. And anyone else?
I got one more question,
No,
Madam Chair.
I just happened to go to a section. I don't know how I happened to be there, but I did happen to go to one, and that's how I found out about it.
How many homes have been tested positive?
I'm not sure. I can find out for you because the state does not send us the information. They send it directly to the home.
Home.
So they never give us the count.
You-
They just want us to do it, and that's what we
Okay,
do.
so we never get a
You will get
annual, no,
You
I
will
mean,
get you will
as
get
far
a
as the city is
response back.
concerned.
Oh no, you get a response back from the state.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I have one other question. Now, what if, just hypothetically, I get this test and it comes back positive, you give me a new house?
Yeah.
I'll write you out for a new home.
Yeah,
We
right.
all can get.
So do I
Yeah.
want to do this?
I'm probably
Have
just
to
have to have
move.
treatment or something.
They are able to treat it or something? Oh, okay. Okay, that's good for the public to know.
Yeah.
I want mine tested.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be
Anybody
coming to
else?
see you.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? Thank you, Ms. Hawkins.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm coming to see you.
Okay, we're there.
Okay, 55.
Yeah.
Well, there's one more page of the ordinance.
454,
Yes, ma'am.
sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, the operating, oh.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just, it's for this Special Events Fund 707. We're requesting an appropriation to current charges for $5,000. And it basically is just going to cover some costs that we have from donations for the 4th of July parade. Where's my notes? National Night Out and some expenses for Harvest Fest.
Have we accepted these donations? Yes.
Some of them we have. Do we have to formally, they've been receipted in and deposited into the city's accounts, but I don't know, is there an action that we're required to actually take it to the council for approval?
Yes, we have to
Yes,
accept all
yes.
donations.
Okay, no, that has not been done.
Yes.
Hello? Hi.
Hi.
I think that's why we're here today, is to start the process of accepting them, approving them, so we can spend them.
Okay.
Yes.
So, as the controller has indicated, this ordinance is revising appropriations for 2018. Now, please don't mix up our ordinance with Ms. Hawkins, because there are no salaries in this budget at all. And the only operating cost is what we're taking to pay bills that we incur when we host special events in the city. So there is no budget for special events through the general fund. We have to raise money or ask for donations and sponsorship from our community when we host events. So we've been successful in doing so, not getting everything we need, but certainly to offset a great deal of the cost. So the $5,000 that you see in this particular budget estimate is to encompass all of those donations that we have received for a few of our events. We're still receiving some. So the budget is escalated just a bit to accommodate so that we don't have to keep coming back for every $200 we receive and ask this body to approve spending for a bouncy house or a face painter. So we do have a few events that, including Harvest Fest, that it's not yet here, but we're still, soliciting for funds. So we want to have enough in the budget to cover, all of those expenses and not have to come back so we can pay bills immediately.
So how much on hand do you have, if this is inflated a little bit, how much do you have on
Well,
hand?
we have, I think 3,000, I have an itemized list of what was taken in most recently, which is $2,000. Indiana University gave us a very nice donation, Indiana American Water, and a few smaller ones, which totals 2,000. And we had about 1,000 in there left from another donation from Indiana University.
Now,
So-
has all that money, all those donations been accepted by the council yet?
No.
Okay, well then, okay.
That's what this is.
That's what this
for.
is.
That's what's, okay.
So, no, not really, because they
Then
have to be separate.
Accepted by the council,
So,
right.
right.
Yeah,
We accept all
and we
those.
haven't done that, right.
Right,
So that's,
Normally, that is the way we do it.
right,
Is we accept the donations first, I thought.
right,
Okay.
yeah. So I would
Sorry,
just
we're
request
doing-
at the beginning of the council meeting that we have the donation, we accept the donation,
And
then
then
we'll
we
take
could do
action
it,
on the actual budget.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought too.
Yes,
Okay. I can
Okay.
have that for you next council meeting.
yes.
Yes, okay.
So then are we gonna be considering this then?
Yeah, we can still consider, but we will know exactly what we have and where the donations come from. So
Okay.
we will set them at the beginning of the meeting, and then once this come up on third and final, we will actually deal with the actual budget at that time.
Okay.
But right
But we
now,
don't need an ordinance to accept the donations, do we?
No,
No.
Okay,
no,
all right.
we do not.
But what I understand what they're asking is that we allow for 5,000 in case they get some more.
Right.
Yes.
And we can do that, right?
Yes.
that's it.
Okay,
but we still will have to accept the extra donation that will come in.
Right.
But the actual
They want to come back for the
operation will be
budget.
in place, right?
mhm,
Yeah,
Okay.
I got you.
okay.
And I like to say, when I get my 1.6 billion tonight,
And I'll be back.
And I'd like to say that I want one of those radon kits so I can get a
Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay,
2 minutes on the council. I'm out.
You guys.
Don't forget to buy my food again.
okay. All right, 55,
Yes.
local roads and streets.
Yes. The ordinance is in front of you is to make some budget changes. We're not changing the total budget, but being able to spend it within the line items where the money's actually needed. Basically we had some overage and overtime from snow plowing earlier this year. I just wanted to move the line items around so they weren't over budget. Also to compensate and allow us to pay for some more gasoline or fuel, and then also to cover the cost that we need to pay for our salt. That's the biggest change in here, so as we can pay for our salt that we owed from earlier this winter. Cargill will not allow us to order more salt until we pay the prior bills, so they won't accept a purchase order or anything either. So that's really the reason for having this, is to be able to finish paying for our salt purchases and to compensate, like I said, for some overages on overtime from earlier this year.
And what's the line item for the salt?
It is actually street and sewer materials.
We're adding
Where is
274.
it? Oh, I see it, I
Okay.
see it.
We're adding 274,000.
Correct. And we're taking it from down and around the capital expenses is where the money's coming from. So we're just reappropriating which line items the money's actually in, so we can actually pay for the salt.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I thought that last year, since we had a mild winter, that we had money left over and that, so I'm surprised that we didn't pay up the bills that we had from last year.
Oh, I'm laughing too.
I know,
Yeah.
I understand that, but sometimes they've been spending this year's appropriations for last year's bills so that the current year's bills they've been kicking to the fund next year. So this will help us at least get caught up on salt.
Okay.
Inside this budget, is there anything in here as far as location of house to salt? Because I know there's issues with the housing of the salt.
They were working on that. I know Public Works was working with Chief of Staff over trying to figure out where to house it to keep it protected, and they had a couple options. Honestly, I'm not sure where they decided how they were going to do that. I know that they were going to talk to the schools too to see if they had a place big enough that we could store salt as well. I'm not sure how that's resolved, but I could ask our Public Works Director to contact you about that.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Uh-huh.
There was $60,000 eliminated for debt service principal, so you no longer have the debt.
We don't have it out of local road and streets. I'm not sure why it was there.
You're saying it should not have been there?
It should not have been there, no.
Oh.
I'm not sure why it was there.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So when we come to the council on third and final for this, hopefully somebody would have gotten an answer for Councilman Brewer's question.
Yes.
In terms of where we're gonna house the salt, where we're
Yes.
gonna put that.
Right, well, this isn't new salt, this is salt we've already used, that we haven't paid for.
No,
But the new salt you're talking.
new salt.
So this budget here does not cover the new salt?
Correct.
This take care of all?
Yes.
So once this is paid, they will release new salt to us
Yes,
on
Yeah.
waiting on payment?
yes.
Okay. When's the time frame to expect to get the salt?
That I'm not really sure. I would imagine sometime,
If Public Works can have an answer back, Councilman.
Yeah,
Yes.
please, so that we know.
I'm a little nervous this weekend, I saw some white stuff coming down, yeah.
Mhm.
One last question, and I'm gonna piggyback off of Mr. Moore's. $60,000, if we have a line item on debt service, what was that debt service for?
I really can't answer to that. It was done as part of last year's budget for this year, and I really can't answer to why
So-
it was put there.
But we haven't spent anything?
No.
We did not have any debt?
Not out of this local
Oh.
road street.
Okay,
Not out of local roads and streets.
okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Public, anybody from the public? Okay, if there are no further questions or comments, those were the only items on the agenda. We've covered them all. So I thank you for coming. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.